Hey, what's happening, everybody? In this video, I want to show you how you can use Convertkit and embed a form into Gatsby JS. Here's the problem though. When it comes to embedding forms, if I go to embed inside of Convertkit, I get the options for JavaScript, HTML, Share, WordPress, Unbounce, but I don't get an option for JSX or Gatsby. In this video, I want to show you how you can take your HTML and convert it into JSX to be used within Gatsby to embed the form on your website. And with that, let's get started. All right, once again, my name is Hayden Adams with A Designer Who Codes, and this channel is all about helping you design more and to troubleshoot less. If that's what you're looking for online, then hit that subscribe button, hit that little notification bell so you never miss a video. So the first step in embedding a form is to design a form. So I, inside of Convertkit, went to landing pages and forms and creating a new form. I'm going to use the easiest and most simplistic one to use, and that's an inline. And I want to use Claire. I'm not so concerned about the design as I want to pull in the first name, the email address, and that subscribe button. I'm going to use React Bootstrap, hiccups this morning. I'm going to use React Bootstrap to redesign the form look, but for right now, I'm looking at the simplistic one in all of these that I can choose from. I'm going to choose Claire, and looks pretty good. Again, I'm not really concerned about the design as I'm going to strip that out. What I'm focusing on here are the settings involved with this form. So in general, show a success message, success. Now check your email to confirm your subscription. That looks good. If I want to choose a custom domain, which I don't because I'm going to embed it anyways, is there an incentive? So send the incentive email, and also after confirming redirect to a specific address or a download. I'm just going to keep it simple and just keep the Convertkit for right now. And the advanced continue to show the form. If someone's already subscribed, they can hide the form. I'm keeping it very, very simple for the most part for right now. I'm going to save, and what I want to do is, let's just call this one demo form. There we go, just so I can name it so it's not just Claire. The next thing I want to do is I want to take the embed code, and out of all of these, what I'm going to use is the HTML. And that's a lot of code. Our next goal is to strip this down so that we're only focusing on the HTML that we need and not the HTML we do not need. All right, let's copy this code and bring it into a project in Gatsby JS. I have a project sitting here called demo form, and it's a fairly empty page. This is a form. We're going to put this form inside this page. So what I'm going to do is, after my H1, I'm going to drop in this ginormous hunk of code. And you can take out so much of this information. Starting with, I want to look for the word style because, oops, let's not do that. There we go. I'm going to do a find and say style because the style is just an inline design element. And if I look for it on line something or other right about here, I can go from style down to style and take that out. All of a sudden, our world got a little bit better. The next thing I want to do is take out all the inline styles inside the elements. So I'm going to look for is not just less than sign style, but the word style equals and quote. Because I can take those out, I can always replace them with another design element. I'm going to keep the data style clean, but I'm looking for the word style. There we go. The great part about Visual Studio Code is it shows me my entire element right about here. So I can take out that style. And there it is again. So this style goes all the way to here. And any other styles I'm missing? Yep, one more right there. There will probably be three, one for each input, and making sure I have enough space in there. Perfect. Now what I can do is I can start spacing out some information, making this look a little bit more readable than all of this craziness going on. Because at first glance, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot. But if we break it down, we start to figure out what to do. So we'll start from the top. This script information needs to be self-closing. So I'm going to then take out the less than sign and the greater than sign. And now I can make the script source be self-closing unto itself. And we'll put it right there. Now the form, of course, opens and closes, and I know it ends with the min width 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm just again spacing some pieces together. What I'm also looking for now are the input tags, because the inputs are the most important piece. I kind of let certain things linger here and there because I'm only worried about the form, the input, and the button that relates to the form. So that's the three pieces, of I guess 4 including the form, I'm looking for. So input is right here, and if I scroll down through, now I have input for the second one. We can see that this input corresponds to your first name. The second input is your email address. And the third is the button. And if we go to the very, very bottom, we can see it's the form. Now the last piece of the puzzle at the very bottom is what it really shows here is that this div or this href right here, I'm going to take the a tags because there's so many divs. When I try messing with the various divs, I get a little lost and confused. So in this case, I'm going to go from a tag to a tag. And this just says powered by Convertkit, which I'm going to remove. And just like that, we've taken out a lot of information in a good way. Let me move the button over a little bit too. There we go. Now we've taken out a lot of information, but we haven't converted, no pun intended, the HTML to JSX. So if I save this and I move my terminal, it's still going to tell me that I have a lot of problems. But the great part about the terminal is it tells you what the problems are at this point in time. Expected corresponding JSX closing tag for input. Perfect. I'm 18143. So basically what it's saying, if I move this right here, is that on line 18, I haven't self-closed the input. There we go. And if we do it again, I bet it's going to tell me that the second one is not self-closing. So if we look at it, self-closing again, we haven't finished the self-closing pieces on the second input. So we have to close that one as well. And we're getting closer, but now we just failed. So this is a little bit cat and mouse game, but the next thing I need to realize is that all the classes have to be class name. So to solve that, I'm taking out all of the classes. Why? Because classes are just design. And to me, I can always bring them back as class names. So starting from the bottom, I'm going to go through the classes and take out whatever I can find when it comes to the word class. There's the spans, which eventually we can remove, but for right now, oh, I think I forgot, there's the subscribe. So if I scroll back up, class can go away, and class can go away for the second one. We will leave data style clean because that's a different piece than just style. And I believe there's one more at the top called class up here. And if I save, I still failed. There's a div that I must have knocked out of place somewhere in there. No, the inputs are closed properly. Let's take a look again. Oh, I did not close the input. Somehow I forgot the other input somewhere or another. Let's put the slash in the input. Oh, check it out. From failure to failure to failure to success. Okay, breathe. That was like troubleshooting bigly in that situation. So let me save this and see if it shows up inside of my design. And it doesn't. But I'm going to start up and come back. I'm going to restart my server. So good news, bad news. So somehow I think I closed the wrong piece. So I'm going to give it one shot until I have to start hitting undo. I think I put the slash in the wrong spot. And nope. Here's the challenge with this. If you take out too many things, it is all going to go downhill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to where I first had that first problem. See, even I can get this thing wrong sometimes. I thought I nailed it, but I didn't. So now if I'm back to input, what it should tell me, yep, closing tags for input. Perfect. Even I cannot get this perfect on the first try sometimes. It does require a bit of precision that I thought I had properly hit. Let's do input. So again, I'm going to put a slash. Input. I'll put a slash. Let's see what happens on the next bit of information. Oh, we have a success. Wait a second. I think I put the close, or I hit an extra slash somewhere. I didn't mean to. Nope, I didn't do it right. Come on, man. And after pausing the video, I see what I did because I didn't read my terminal well enough and I had to stop for a second. Expected corresponding JSX closing tag for input. And I'm like, well, input is right here. But no, I did not do it properly to begin with. So what I should have done, if I take one step back, is that I'm going to put the close divs down below just so I have the input to itself. And thereby, there was the problem. So what I didn't do was I didn't separate the close div from the input. So input has to receive a closing slash, and the other input has to receive a closing slash. And now I get a success message. And again, I had to do so many undos. I have to still go back to the classes and take them back out, which I have to do again. This is kind of more real time than I thought I would hit on the first try, but this is also the fun and challenging part of converting your HTML into JSX, that it won't always work on the first shot. All I want to do is I want to see a pretty empty form. If I save this, we're getting some success messages. Let's see how it looks. Oh, this is awesome. After all that struggle and strife, I have a very boring looking form. That's okay. As long as the form shows up and there's no error messages, I'm in good shape to design. And I can take built with Convertkit out. So what I can do is at the very bottom, I'll go from A tag to A tag. I'm going to leave all the divs in also because the divs also work with the JavaScript. And since I can't see the JavaScript, I don't know exactly what div to take out. So if I save it, oh, now we're looking sweet. So your first name, that's me. My email address, that's also me. And subscribe. In theory, it will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, push this up to my server because it doesn't work on the local host. I'm going to put it up through Netlify and come back when it's actually built. So it looks like it uploaded quite perfectly. I did the typical git add star, and then I went into Netlify just to make sure that nothing had an error message on the build. And so far, the build's looking pretty good. So the ultimate test is, does it work? So let's go from localhost 8000. I'll do a new tab and go to a designer who codes /demo form. So let me give this a try and see if it works. I'm going to type in my name and I'll type my email address in and I'm going to hit subscribe and see if it works. Cool. Success. Now check your email to confirm your subscription. Let me head to my email and see if it's going to work. And check it out. Hey, Hayden S. Adams, BFA. Important, confirm your subscription. Thanks for signing up. Link below to confirm your subscription and you'll be on your way. If I confirm my subscription, and if I bring my other screen around here, subscription confirmed. boom, you're officially confirmed and on the list. Expect some great emails headed your way soon. Well, the good news is that the form is working in our design. The problem is it doesn't look very good. So the next step is bringing a React Bootstrap form elements to make this look really good. Awesome. As we can see in our design, it's working, but the design is not looking very good. But that's actually really great because I can bring in, if I go over to React Bootstrap, which is the power of Bootstrap, but in React form. And I'll also put a link down in my description below on how you can put React Bootstrap into your Gatsby project. I'm going to focus on the components of the form to leverage the power of React Bootstrap to help design the form for me. And again, if you're new to React Bootstrap, I will put a link in the description down below to help you out in that arena. So let me restart Gatsby develop. And what I want to do here is that I want to bring in elements of the form within my design using React Bootstrap. Perfect. It's back up and working. Let me see. Awesome. We have our boring form. So the first thing I have to do is I have to declare it as a capital letter form. So at the very top, where I had the container previously in my design, I'm going to add form. And again, this is part of the setup of the introduction of using React Bootstrap, whereby if I go back to getting started, importing components, import button from React Bootstrap, I'm just going to import the form from React Bootstrap to make this work. So if I type the word form, it's going to say I haven't used it yet, which is correct. So I'm going to change the lowercase form to an uppercase letter form. And of course, if I have the open tag, I have to come down to the closing tag and open and close it. And again, this is where I really rely on my terminal to make sure it's working successfully. If I save it and there's an error message, I'm going to stop right away. Otherwise, bad things can happen. So what I next want to do is I'm going to create a row and a 3-column design for my form. So what I want to focus on is the area right after the form. And this area is this large section right here. So I'm just going to hit the return key after the min width at 4, 5, 6, 7, and 800 and start designing. What I'm going to say is form.row. Because I'm going to create 3 columns, I have to declare a row. I'm then going to say form.group. And the groups are going to act like containers to hold the 3 columns, which are going to be my field, number 1, the name, field number 2, the email, and the subscribe button. So the form group is going to be as a column. So we'll say as, curly brackets, call. We do have to declare the call. So what I have to do is I have to come up here and say column to make sure it's going to work. And if I come back down here, this call, we're going to say break at medium, and it's going to be a 4-column design. Now in React Bootstrap and Bootstrap, it's based on a 12-column design. So thereby 4 is 1/3. So if I close this, not with a question mark, that was pretty good, I can say test. And here's the thing. If I copy this 3 times, this should be 3-column design. And for me, I'm going to save it and let's see if it works. Well, it says success, but is it the way I want it to look? So if I come back to demo form, cool, it's looking pretty good. I have test, test, and test. Your first name is going to go up here. Your email address is going to go right here. And the subscribe button is going to go right here. Again, here's the power of columns. Let's say I want a lot more room for name and a lot less room for email, or I want a gigantic subscribe button. Because I'm working on a 12-column design and it's going to scale back to 100%, there it goes. Notice how it's already responsive by default. So what I can also do is, as long as this equals 12, let's say that first name, and this is email, and this is the subscribe button. Let's say I want a smaller first name, a bigger email area, and a smaller subscribe button. So 3 plus 7 is 10 and 2 is 12. Now what it's going to look like is a smaller first name, a large email, and a subscribe. Again, you can move this anywhere you want in your design because it is flexible and responsive. So cool, it's working. Now within the form group, I'm going to create a form control. So what I'm going to say is, in this case, form.control, and this will eventually self-close. But here's the thing. Now I can bring in information, and let me also self-close it down below. I'm going to come down below and grab what's required of the input information. So what I need is the name, the type, and the placeholder. So we found name, the type's over here, and the placeholder, your first name. ARIA label is important, but it's not that important. So what I'm going to do is come back up to form control and paste in the name, the placeholder, and the type text. And what I do also recommend people do, especially with forms, is I'm going to add a required because I want someone to type in, yes, that is correct. I'm going to type that in, and you can also bring in the ARIA, which if you want to, where was it? Now I lost it. And your first name. So we'll bring that up there and drop it in. So now if I save, that's making sure it's going to work. What I should see now is your first name. Pretty cool. Now I have to do is the second for the email. So let's repeat the process, but in this case, the type is going to be email, not text. So I will then say form.control, come down, self-close, and look for, in this case, we can then comment that out. There we go. And then the next one is going to be name email. So I'm going to grab the ARIA label, name, placeholder, the required will take out, in this case, and just put the word required and type email. So I'll come up to the top, paste it in. I thought I had the cursor in the right spot. So again, I'm just making this a little more for readability. Required is not the same as React Bootstrap required. So I will say required, if I can type it properly. And the type is going to be email. Now for the button, what we can use is, we can use a button. So what I'm going to do in that third form group is say button. So what I'm going to do is capital button, because React Bootstrap already has its own buttons. So I'm just going to say subscribe now, just so we can see it in action. What I then have to do is take into account this button data element submit, because Convertkit's looking for that submit data element. So in the button, I'm going to say data element submit. What kind of button is it? This is also designed for React Bootstrap. We're going to say type is submit, and we're going to save. Let's see what this looks like and see if everything crashed and burned. Oh, it almost did. I didn't declare the button above. So again, with React Bootstrap, there it is, and success. And check it out. We now have your first name, your email address, which is massively long, but that's okay. And again, if I click on that and I try to submit, it says, please fill out this field, because it's built in to have that requirement now built into React Bootstrap. And of course, if I then change it, notice how it changes from the full width to now vertical. That's the power medium. If you have a longer design, you might want to say large. So what I can also do now is go from medium to, let's say, well, we're going to go large and then large, which will then create the breakpoints of the large size versus medium. So far, so good. No error messages. Now this will break at a larger size because before that subscribe now. So if you have a full width design, that's going to be an issue because that email address is mighty, mighty long. Now, obviously, I don't need to make that email address super long, but again, it depends how you're building your design. But notice how it's already now responsive in my design element. And also, if I want to change the button, I can use the button elements. Where'd it go? So if I want to use the info, the light, or the dark, not necessarily the warning or danger, I can also bring this variant in as well. So let's say I want the primary to be blue but outlined. I can bring in variant, outline primary, and find the button. And now when I save it, where'd it go? There it is. Now I have subscribe now in a not so massively blue button to look at, but a softer light blue. But of course, the ultimate test is we've done all this work, but now does it work? And also what I want to do is I'm going to hide these other ones. I usually just keep them just in case I mess up because that's entirely plausible given what I've done before. So the button element right here, what I can do is in the div, to me, there's so many divs that I have to make sure I'm very, very careful that I'm going to drop the button down and then the div to close div, the div to close div. Again, I'm watching how carefully div, there it is. And this is the close div. That's an open. That's a close. You can see how many, what's going on here. This is more for the JavaScript in this case. So what I can also do then is this case, I'll take out the button going on. And to me, the span class, I can take out the word subscribe. Again, I'm going to then hit the return key, drop it down. I'm taking out the elements of the button, but I don't want to touch any of the div tags. I just can't tell using this Convertkit where things, and if I save it, let's see if it crashes. Nope, we're good. And now I have a cleaned up form that looks really good per React Bootstrap. But again, the ultimate test is, does this work? So let me stop this. I'm going to then push it up onto Netlify and give it a try. All right, so far everything pushed up fine. If I take a look, everything pushed without any errors. So let's give this a try and see if it works. So I'm back to a designerwhocodes.com/demo form. I'm going to add my name and my email address. And let's see if this works. Oh, well, it did, but the problem is that I have this showing up where it should replace the information above. So it worked, but it didn't quite work the way I wanted it to be. And this is the challenge because I had to test it on my real site and not on the development stage. But I know where I made a mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and let's go find my staging site. And yep, it's dead. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is Gatsby develop. And I didn't wrap those forms around a specific area where the JavaScript essentially hides the form and shows the output. Perfect. We're back to our form. The form worked, but now we're relying on Convertkit's JavaScript. So what I have to do is notice this whole bunch of div information. Well, the fields inside of it disappeared, which is great. The problem is that we didn't put the divs inside our new fields. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of those div tags and move them up to the top of the form row. Once again, as long as I move all the divs in one fell swoop, what should happen is we get a success message. Now the problem is I can't test it on my local host because the JavaScript will not work until I put it onto netlify/git. So again, I'm going to stop one more time, upload my site, and come back when it's finished. All right, let me actually move my log just to make sure you can see everything pushed okay. So I did one more push to make sure it was working. And so far, everything's looking clean and good, and the site is live. So let me refresh this page just to make sure I have the most newest version. And let me try this one more time. This is a form. So I'm going to type in my first name and type in my email address and subscribe now. Poof, it is gone. The JavaScript hid the form. Success. Now check your email to confirm your subscription. Let's take a look and see if that email gets confirmed. And if I come over to email address, pull it over one more time, bingo. Thanks for signing up. Click the link below to confirm your subscription and you'll be on your way. And if I click confirm, a different screen popped up on my other monitor and subscription confirmed. Now do note that you can change this URL inside of Convertkit. I just kept it standardized, but you can go back to whatever page you want to do or any page you want to go to. And since we're here, here's my shameless self-plug. I'm going to keep this page up, and if you want to see how I did this, I'm going to put a link to my GitHub repo from a designer who codes, and I'm going to keep the demo form there. If you also want to be part of my mailing list where I do updates of different videos, courses, and anything else I'm also working on, don't forget you're welcome to sign up. You can use this form right here to subscribe to a designer who codes email. I promise you I will not send you any spam. If you want more videos helping you design more and troubleshoot less, check out the videos I have here and don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'm Hayden Adams with A Designer Who Codes. Thanks so much for watching and have a fantastic day.